Badass Attitudes, licensed here. A badass is determined to grow, disciplined in the process, and dedicated to the goals. A podcast for successful badassery with Kelly Orchard. Certifying badasses, one podcast at a time.
So it looks like we're covering the D in badass today, thanks to Mr. Ocean. That's right. The badass is an acronym, and if you haven't figured out that right by now, then you should call me and let me tell you all about it. Or just listen to all these podcasts, which, by the way, thank you very much for coming back. I am Kelly Orchard, the badass certifier. As I sat down, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine just down the hall here at Michelle's place, and I said, I got to go do a podcast. She's like, oh, that's fun. And I had somebody else ask me what kind of microphone I use. And the theme today is for change of seasons. What season are you in? And we're changing seasons right now. This is, we're coming up on Memorial Day weekend. And, of course, that's always, symbolic of the beginning of summer break. And, so we're changing a season. And like I say, all the time when I do the podcast, I am not unaware, obviously, of the goings-on of the world out there, but that's not what this is about. That's not what this podcast is. You're not tuning in for me to give you my opinion and my perspective or whatever my thoughts are on the news of today. All I can acknowledge right now for you is it is a mad, 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 mad world. And if we collectively and individually do not protect and mind our mental health, we are individually gonna spiral out of control as well. I've been sharing with you all about recalibrating your mental health for summer, and it is really super important. It's like a lot of people want to get their body ready for summer break, or they want to get their wardrobe ready, or they want to plan their summer vacation, or whatever it is that you're getting ready for the change. You're getting ready for some fun, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Is being ready for a change of season. And I will be honest, when I talk about seasons, we have our personal seasons, right? And this isn't lifespan where you're in your twilight years and that's it. No, we're talking, or you're in your youth. We're talking about a season that you might be enduring or going through, and seasons change. Sometimes you're going through a good season and you pray that it will last forever. And there are times where you're going through a rough season and you pray that it will end soon. And we all have these seasons that we go through. And, that's how I've designed basically my Apple a Day book in the series. When I first started working on my Apple a Day feature, it was mainly just, I did topics. Okay. So I did 30 days on our core values. And then what are 30 days on self-care? How about 30 days of new habits, 30 days of gratitude, 30 days of saying no. And then we have topics of leadership and extraordinary life and learning and the importance of learning. And so I did them in just these topics. But then, when I decided that it's time to put the audiobooks to paper and add journal pages, which if you're following me for a while, you're aware I have my Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day series of books. And I divided them into the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And they basically say, when you think about a garden and planting a garden, or you're growing trees or whatever it is, there's different things that those seasons present and do, or that those the growth happens, or it doesn't happen, or whatever it is. There's different things that you do to take care of those particular items, whether it's a garden or it's a tree or it's whatever in those seasons, right? There's certain times of the year that they bear fruit or flowers. There's certain times of the year where you're needed to prune them back because they're not going to grow at all. That's winter. Or there's seasons where you're going to be planting brand new seeds and maybe you're weeding out what's not working anymore. This is how life is, or how it should be. And so when I talk about the changing seasons, like we're going to talk about today, we're talking about what season are you in right now? Is it good? Is it bad? Are you all right? Are you doing okay? Because if you're not having a good time, and if you're not doing all right, and if things are a little bit rough, I'm here to tell you the season will change. Okay, it will change. It won't be like this forever. However, if you're not doing something to make a change of yourself, to pull yourself out of this, if you're feeling stuck or in a low mood or I just can't get anything done anymore, listen to a podcast from a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago where I give you the signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety, and that's what's holding you back. It's very important right now for you, as you're listening to this, to do sort of an emotional audit of your life right now. Where are you emotionally? And I can tell you what's going on with me. It's like I just returned from Texas a week ago. It feels like I've been home a month already. Honestly, I cannot wait to plan another trip to go back out there. Not because I don't like my life here. My life here is just fine. But I did enjoy working remotely. I really did, and that is in my future. That I'll be working a lot more remotely. But also, I caused myself to slow down and not be so fast-paced about setting up meetings and networking and all of that. Why? Because geographically, it was impossible anyway. And that helped me to be able to spend time just doing more reflecting and more self-care and more thinking about what do I want to do for this next season that is coming up for me. Knowing that I have things that need to be taken care of. If you're listening to my podcast for any length of time, my parents live with me, and I've been sharing that it's time to find different arrangements for them because I'm in over my head. I'll tell you, I am. It's a challenge, and for their safety and well-being, it is important for me to get them better care than what I can provide as a single person. Because I have a practice and I'm working all the time, and I can't pay the bills if I'm not working. You know what I mean? There's this vicious cycle of this is it. I'm stuck in this situation. Now, I could come to you or any of my friends or anybody and just be complaining about it and maybe seeking sympathy, which, I could use some of right now, but it's not really sympathy I need. It's more empathy and maybe compassion. But the thing is that I could be talking about it and I could be not doing anything about it. And that's what I do for a living. So I had to step back and make some decisions about how I want to manage the changing season that is coming up. And that is what I'm doing. Now, I'm not going to share all the details with you because I want you to be thinking about what you need to do. Being your badass self doesn't just happen overnight. It takes perpetual pruning and work. And I've learned that it's the small, persistent steps that are key that'll allow you to achieve your goals securely rather than attempt these fast-track results that never really last for the long term. And, I appreciate people doing like workout boot camps and stuff like that. And hey, my badass certification class I call it CPR for your mental health. Because if it's only a 4-hour class, then you're not going to walk away from it like completely cured of all your depression or anxiety or your stinking thinking or, whatever it is that's sending you down this rabbit hole of behaviors or thoughts that are not serving you. But I call it CPR for your mental health because, hey, I'm going to give you a tool. I'm going to teach you how to do it. But it is not therapy. It's not therapeutic. I mean, it is therapeutic, but it's not the persistent and the perpetual pruning that you need to be doing. And, when we're thinking about the gardening and last week, I think it was, I did the thing on emotional, mental hygiene, things that you need to do for yourself. And hygiene, yes, it's like, if you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you take a shower and you shave or whatever it is, your morning routine, you put your makeup on or you do your hair and you get dressed, that's your personal grooming. That's your hygiene. Right? You more than likely you get your car washed or you clean your house, you dust, you vacuum, you water your plants, you wash the dishes, you take care of the floors. That's your home hygiene, right? Not too many people think about their mental hygiene. Okay, so, and this isn't about, I remember a friend of mine saying that when she went away on a trip, she read nothing but novels. And it was nice. It was so refreshing to not be reading self help or goal setting or crushing it and things like that. There comes a time in your life where that's not going to be what you need. And I had another client that I had to give them the advice, the counsel this week of, okay, no more worrying about what you're feeling and you're thinking and how everything that's going. I want you just to go have fun. Just go have fun. No more listening to podcasts. No more writing in your journal. No more focusing on this. It's okay. You know where you stand. You know what is happening. You understand who you are right now. And you're going to get to another point where you're going to need to grow. But right now, what you probably need to do is can you just relax and go enjoy yourself? Go do some activities that you just enjoy that don't necessarily you don't have to think too much about them. And so for this Memorial Day weekend, that's what I'm going to encourage you to do as well. I don't make big plans for the holiday weekends like this anymore. I leave that for the young people. Now they're rookies. I call them rookies. I've done plenty of, lake trips, boating trips, river trips, beach trips, camping trips, barbecues for these summer holidays. In fact, when my family had the radio station, there wasn't a whole lot of trips because holiday weekends are usually big for sales at retail stores, car dealerships, furniture stores, etc. And we were in the business of advertising for them, and we always had to do live remote broadcasts over the weekends, and my brothers and I would have to rotate which ones we would do on those weekends. So I wasn't really, I haven't for a long time been in the habit of trying to make plans on these holiday weekends. But I will tell you this, I do have a plan on Friday. And you might like this because you're a listener. I've got some fresh Mustang Mondays that are going to be popping up. Yes. And it is going to be Mustang Monday Murrieta. That's right. I have made arrangements to have several of the department heads for the city of Murrieta hop in the Mustang for Mustang Monday interview. One of them is the chief of police, believe it or not. And the other one is the fire chief, believe it or not. So that's my whole weekend plan because I'll probably be going back into my office to edit and get these things produced and ready to go to be published for the following Mondays. I don't know if I'll do Memorial Day, but probably the week after is when they will first starting to publish. So changes are being made. So we're heading into summer. And despite what's going on in our crazy, crazy world, whatever it is, there are certain things now that you have things that are no longer going to serve you, things you can no longer do anymore. Things have changed a lot. But that shouldn't derail you entirely. Don't let it derail you entirely. You can learn again, pick up new skills, develop a new attitude. And how do we do that? Simple tools in your toolbox. That's all it is. I mean, come on. If you're going to go to the beach over Memorial Day weekend and you want to build a sand castle, what tools would you take to build the sand castle? Imagine them. Shovel, a couple pails, maybe something to carve things out, maybe some decorative things. You're going to need some water to harden up the sand and to make it more moldy, right? Or able to be molded. Who needs moldy sand? But you get what I'm talking about. So I want to give you some tools to take with you on summer break. That's right. Yeah. It's like I developed my program to help you do more than just think about a badass life. It's like when we just talked about making a sandcastle at the beach. I know you imagined that. You imagined what it would look like, but we could think about what it will look like. But if you don't take the tools over to the sand and start building it, it will never happen. You can imagine it. You can think about it. Well, a lot of people, they when I say, oh, I certify badasses, and then they tell me, oh, I'm badass. And I'm like, good, great, but they're not really understanding what that means. It's like I know people think badass just means that you've been through a lot, and here you are. True, that is very true. But it also means that you have to perpetually be pruning and working on doing an emotional audit of yourself, checking in, kind of checking yourself, doing that mental hygiene. So, like I said, being your badass self just doesn't happen overnight. My problem is not therapy, but it is very therapeutic and is a fundamental component for your personal growth. Most of us now realize that the world is not going back to the way it was before. So if you're ready to rediscover your purpose and passion and recalibrate your life, and these are the conversations that I have with people hour after hour after hour, day after day after day. And I'd love for you to be one of the select few to join me on the bus to Badassville this summer. When I started to grad school to study psychology to become a licensed in marriage and family therapist, I'll tell you the truth, I had no idea what I was getting in for. I gained the education and the knowledge necessary to help people just like you. But you know what? More than that, I also learned how to help me. And over the years, I filled my emotional and psychological toolbox with ways to cope and navigate my way through any ordeal. And oftentimes people, they'll listen to me, they'll call me up, hey, Kelly, how you doing? How are your parents? Because they know my parents, and I'll tell them what's going on. And they'll acknowledge what a stressful situation this is. And, you'd think I would maybe be doing a little bit worse than I am. But I'll tell you the truth. I know what I need. I have my toolbox filled with tools, and I use them. And sometimes the tools that I'm using may not be working at the moment, but I have other tools in my toolbox, and I know, well, if one's not working, the other will. And this is a practice. This is a way of life for me now, and it can be for you too when you have the right tools in the toolbox. And I have them all for you in one little place, and it's all coming up, and it's going to be fun because, it's a digital program. So that's self-paced. You get your own, you get to listen to the videos or watch them whenever you want. And there's a worksheet that goes along with them. And there's like 26 of those, and they are all basically cognitive therapy exercises, something for solution focus, goal setting, SMART goals, you name it. We've got it in there, and how to navigate it. I also have some links for you to take some free online assessments to discover what your personality type is, what your temperament is, all these other things that people love to do and figure out for themselves, your love languages, things like that. I provide links for you to take those assessments online free. If you want to buy them, that's up to you. But meanwhile, I've got all these workshops, and I'm taking you through a journey for all these tools to learn how to be yourself. But how can you be yourself if you don't know yourself? So let's figure yourself out. What makes you tick? What do you like? What do you feel? What is important to you? What are you passionate about? Do you even know anymore? That's like the place to start. A lot of us have lost our passion for what we were doing. Talking to somebody the other day, telling me about her daily routine, and then saying, so is this all there is? I mean, is this it for me? We're talking about a 54 or 55-year-old woman. And I was like, no, this is not it for you. Not by a long shot. But I just don't know what I'm passionate about anymore. Well, okay. That's where we start. And so that is where we start. If you are not passionate about the work that you're doing or the projects that you're involved in, and I'm not suggesting just drop everything and quit. That's too big of a risk. If you can, great, do it. But if it's too big of a risk and it makes you scared, well, that's when we do one step at a time. One step at a time. Remember, like I said, it's the small, persistent steps, and then that allow you to achieve your goals. So here's the thing. I am not kidding. I have overcome so much in my life, and the two brothers have died. I've had two major medical issues in my life, which have hospitalizations and surgeries. I raised my kids as a single mom, truly a single mom. They were 5, 3, and 1 when I separated from their dad, and he wasn't involved in the picture. So it's not like I had every other weekend or twice, only half custody or whatever. No, I was it. That was it. It was it for me. And so, and now I'm taking care of my parents. And So when I tell you that I've overcome a lot, I have. And, I've overcome business failings and, financial troubles and bankruptcy and losing houses and having to move. I say houses like I've lost more than one. Sorry about that. I don't mean to, exaggerate. But whatever it is you're going through, I will empathize and have some compassion for you. And that I know is also in a lot of short supply these days. We've all heard the phrase about personal history and problems likened to be carrying baggage, right? And that's not what we're doing here. Okay. So the topic today is change. Talking about seasons and how they change. You can too, which will lead to the summer season. And that's a time to grow. That's how, all of the apples in the apple a day are for the summer season, right? So now I want you just to enroll in in my program. If it sounds like you're ready to accomplish something new in your life, it's time to take the decision to improve your skills for successful badassery. Yeah, I'd love to have you on the journey this summer. I'm only wanting like 5 people. Honestly, we're going to have, so you have the digital program, but then once a week for 6 weeks only. It's only a 6-week commitment. It's not like it can take a lot out of you. 6 weeks. We meet for an hour and a half on a Zoom, but it's not just chatting about our problems of the day. No, I'm going to be teaching you new techniques, but we're going to be doing it live. We're going to be learning about heart math and how your breathing and emotions and get your heart rate variability so that it can reduce the negative impact on stress and help you calm your central nervous system down. All right, we're going to be learning that. We'll be focused on continuing with utilizing music and creating your badass soundtrack, which in the beginning of the program, you will go through the online version of the sort of badass certification class. So you'll know what we're talking about. We're just going to keep that momentum going. And then we're going to be learning a lot about emotional intelligence and how to read the room and how to read your own emotions and really come to an understanding of what you're thinking and feeling, but how it's also impacting others and how they're thinking and feeling. Heart math has a lot to do with also that emotional intelligence and how you can bring it all together. And that way it will help you cope with and get through and navigate these changes while you recalibrate your mental health. So I'm inviting you to flip the format on the negativity with me. I got the step-by-step plan, and you can accomplish it in just the 6 weeks this summer. What are you afraid of? Really, what are you afraid of? In order to conquer your fears, we have to consider what our talents and abilities are. We need to reflect on our lives, where we've been, where we are right now, where we want to be. So if fear rules your heart and mind, you'll be in constant dread and defeat, leading to depression. And like Mr. Ocean was just saying in the beginning, badass is determined to succeed and dedicated to the course. All right. So the D in badass is decide. You got to make a decision that you're ready to grow and succeed. I got news for you. Your body hears what the mind is thinking. And this holds true in physics of transmission. I've talked about how you are like a radio station. Radio transmitters emit their signal to receive their format. That's the law of physics. Biology also. And also how we think. It's also going to affect how we feel, which affects the way we behave. It is scientific, and it takes practice to flip your thinking and behaving format. But it is possible with practice. So just like a badass athletes practice their fundamentals, no matter what sport, they run drills, they do basic exercises to play their best. Dancers always practice fundamentals of form and isolation, strength exercises. Business leaders attend leadership conferences, read books, and practice their basic leadership skills. Musicians and mathematicians and doctors and sales professionals all practice formulas and foundations of basic skills. It makes sense for you, an individual then, to practice the foundations to flip the format on negative thinking out of your fears to thinking more positively. My entire life was derailed by heart failure in 2006. My broadcast career was history. I was losing my home because of the medical bills that took over my finances. And all the while, I was still raising 3 teenagers as a single mom. I didn't really feel like I was under a lot of stress and anxiety, and my heart still almost gave out. Yep, I could have been dead. Thank God I didn't. But my heart problem changed my heart in more ways than one. So see, the problem is when an event occurs in our lives that derails our plans, which has happened basically to everybody at this point, most people don't know what to do. Whether it's the loss of a job, the marriage, the relationship, a home, a death of the family, a really frightening diagnosis and medical treatments, whatever it is, we tend to feel lost, alone, terrified, and that nobody really understands. And then we may dip into depression or suffer from anxiety and lose sleep. The stress and the angst can be unbearable, and it leads to difficulties at work and in our relationships, and it seems to spin out of control until you just can't seem to find your way out. I really don't want your life and career derailed because you let stress and anxiety get the best of your life. The mind can change the way the brain functions. The mind has a mind of its own. So in my License to Be Badass program this summer, you're going to learn not only how to use music to improve your mood and attitude, but heart math skills to reduce stress and negativity as we recalibrate how you think about your life. And how integrated your brain is determines your well-being. Are you ready for a change of season? Your mental health matters now more than ever. And as a licensed psychotherapist, I know that I am extremely busy with clients, but I want to make time for you. And so that's why I created this digital program. It is me. It's me talking. It's my videos. I created them. My hands are all over this project. And I love it. And I hope that you will be one of the people that's going to be hopping on the bus with me this summer. It's going to start up in about 3 weeks is when we're going to actually start the group calls, 3 or 4 weeks, the group coaching calls. But you can hop on the bus right now and get signed up, start working on the program. It has a lot of features to it. It's like you pay for the program, you're going to get all the digital assets, but I'm also going to send you stuff. You're going to get all the copies of my Apple a Day books and my Heart Lessons book. I got a water bottle for you and a coffee mug, the License to Be Badass logo on it, and a few other little fun items like stickers and buttons that you can just, represent. And then you're going to get the 6 weeks of coaching with me as well in the group. And like I said, it's only 5 to 10 people. It's not like you're competing with 100 people and it doesn't really feel like it's intimate. It will be intimate. All right. And then when all is said and done, when you're all done, I'm going to give you your diploma. That's right. You're going to get a diploma that certifies that you are licensed to be badass. And it's an 8x10, looks like a regular diploma. You can hang it on your wall in your office or in your hallway or in your front entryway so everybody can see that you are licensed to be badass and you flipped the format and recalibrated your mental health this summer. Listen, this is a time where there is so much going on and there's so many I see so much, and I'm just I wish I could help you all. But the people who it's going to work for are the people who are willing to do it. Because we can sit around and we can complain that our life just isn't working anymore. And we can, I got so many people that'll come in my office and they'll tell me their worries, and then they'll show me how, but my friend, they'll rationalize and they'll share about somebody else's and how their problems are worse. And what it does is it shows them, well, I'm not so bad, then not why I should just get over it. Well, stop rationalizing about how difficult your challenges are right now because somebody else has it worse and I should just be grateful for this. I get that. I do. But you matter. You also matter. And what you're going through is important. But you don't have to do this alone. So stop rationalizing and minimizing what you're experiencing and just book a call with me. Literally, I'm going to put the link to my calendar where you can just schedule a call. And I only want, it's like, don't schedule a call if you're not interested. If you're just trying to waste my time, I'm going to know it. It's like, I want some free advice. But if you're serious about wanting to recalibrate your mental health and you're interested in what I'm talking about becoming licensed to be badass and getting all of these components and taking 6 weeks to really just do that. It's almost like a boot camp, but it's better than a boot camp because you're going to have constant access always to this material. It's not going to go away for you. I've done these boot camp kind of things, and I can't function in a boot camp environment because I'm too busy to drop everything to be ready when they need me to be ready. So I have to do it at my own pace. And so this is why I do this at my own pace. And I want you to do it at your own pace. I don't have a side hustle. I don't even like the word hustle. There's nothing good about hustle. unless you're in the restaurant business, or you are trying to do a hustle, or you do need to go fast. But I'm in a different stage, of a different season in my life, and I think most of us are right now too, is that the hustle and bustle that used to be promoted and prominent in our world, if you wanted to succeed, you got to hustle, has shifted. And it's more about, if you want to live a successful life, you need to know what your purpose is, and you need to know what your passion is, and you need to follow that, because more and more of us are realizing that that's really all that matters. That's what we're here for. Otherwise, what is our purpose if we don't do what our purpose is? If we just ignore it because we're too busy doing other things. Okay, that's got to be it for me. I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for tuning back in. And hey, do me another favor. You guys, it worked last week when I asked you to share this with a friend. Share this with a friend, because you know what? You got to ask them. It's like, as the seasons change to summer, I'm inviting you to grow now rather than wait another season. So I hope you see the difference between the way you want your life to be and the way it is now. Growth happens through change, and seasons change. So can you. So should you work with me? If you know my work and you think I might be able to help, then yes. Otherwise, trying to sell you is a huge waste of time for both of us. I'm not interested in hustling anyone. However, not working with me might be pretty expensive too. So think about that. And in the meantime, Mr. Ocean's going to tell you what it's like to get on the bus to Badassville.
When the bus arrives at Badassville, you discover it's not a place, it's a state of being. Just as apples are a core ingredient to a healthy diet, Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day is a core ingredient to living a fruitfully badass life. Be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.